If you want to become a master chef in your personal development kitchen, then you need to stop acting like a cook. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And you know, one of the things that I do in the morning is have a beverage, okay? Sometimes water, sometimes juice, whatever. Recently, I came up with an inspirational idea to me, which was, you know what? Instead of going out and buying this juice, you got all these fresh fruits and everything, why don't you make your own little beverage? So I took the blender and I went out and I bought some oranges. And the oranges I bought, very skin was hard to peel. It's like that didn't make it so appealing. So then I tried the little mandarin oranges where the skin comes off really easily. Yes, that works. Then I threw in some strawberries. Then I threw in some grapes and poured some grapefruit juice in the container so it would mix well. Wow, what a drink. Now, there's a certain amount of, I don't know, pulp in there, but you live with that, okay? You fine tune that, you figure out a way to reduce the amount of pulp. But the point is, if you want to become a master chef in your personal development kitchen, one of the things you have to do as an individual, and we're also going to talk about being as a leader, becoming a master chef, is that you have to have a little bit of expertise in something that you've learned. You know, you have to go and read the cookbook, you have to read the recipe, and you have to become fluent in it, and you have to be a good performer in that. And then once you have that down, then you start saying to yourself, what else can I do? What nuances can I add? Or what things can I subtract? This also works, folks, on the personal development side of the balance sheet. Yeah, you're watching this video, so you want to learn something. Great. Fantastic. But you got to go out, you got to do it. And when you do it, you got to achieve a level of excellence in what it is you're trying to do. And then, and only then, can you start to add some nuances. Let's use as a basketball example, let's say that you wanted to make some curry. Let's say some Steph Curry as an example. How did Steph Curry make Steph Curry? Well, first he developed a level of excellence as a shooter. Then he said to himself, what else can I do? What nuances can I add? All right, I'm going to step back a little bit. I'm going to shoot from further out. I'm also going to shoot more quickly. I'm going to get the ball, be able to pop it. Also, when I'm driving to the basket, I'm going to be able to put it over the trees because I'm going to lay it softly high off the glass. Guess what, folks? That takes two things. It takes vision to say, how can I get the ball over the trees? And it takes execution. It takes practice. Practice makes perfect. Duh. All right? That's the point. So when you're doing things now, cooking is the same thing. I have people come over for breakfast sometimes. I don't pretend to be a master chef, but one thing I know how to make really well is pancakes. And people love my pancakes. Why do they love them? Because I take mangoes and I slice them up. And I take peaches and slice them up, and blueberries and slice them up, and put in chocolate chips and strawberries. And when the pancake, and I don't put them into the batter, I put the batter in, and then after that I place the fruit on the pancakes. All right, what's the big deal with that? Well, it's not really such a big deal, but when people eat the pancakes, and I don't buy the instant mix, I make it from scratch, and when I do that, people say, wow, you don't even have to put syrup on these pancakes. I've become a master chef as far as pancakes are concerned. So, but the first thing you have to do is you have to try, and you have to start making your basic pancakes. And then you add the nuances. Same thing is true with the things that you are able to embrace from personal development channels like this one, and from books, and from authors. take what they give you and then add your own little 2 cents to it. Trial and error. You're not going to succeed with everything. You know, I put watermelon and cantaloupe into my juice mix in the morning. Didn't come out so good, so I don't do those anymore. So it's trial and error. That's the thing. Now, as far as a leader is concerned, one of the things, if you're going to become a master chef, let me give you a clue. When you go to a restaurant that's, you know, Emeril Lagasse or Bobby Flay or one of those, it's a, you know, an Emeril Lagasse restaurant, you know, it's very expensive, so they can jack up the prices. That's for one thing. But the other thing is, guess what? Emeril isn't exactly cooking your individual meal. What is it that he's done? He's taken something, he's been very creative with it, he's created a system, and he's hired the cooks, the players, to come in and do the actual cooking. There's a clue there, my friends. The same thing works as far as being a leader is concerned. If you're a leader in a particular field, a particular endeavor, one's going to have to assume that you've reached a certain level of excellence. Otherwise, you shouldn't be the leader. As the leader, you have to constantly be teaching your people that you're developing, the skills that you have so that they can, in essence, become you. And then they can, that's how Emeril and Bobby Flay and those other chefs out there make their money in their restaurants. The people that they hire as cooks, they've given them a system, they've given them a playbook and said, this is the way we want it done. They developed their own system. They've added their own little nuances to it. That's what makes them unique. Now, I've had that happen to me so many different times in life, and I never really thought about it until I saw a line that said, you know, if you want to be a master chef, stop being a cook. And I thought to myself, you know, that's really, really true. I'll give you an example from my life where I've used that, and there's been many. One of them was when I first started coaching high school basketball. I was a frosh soft coach at this high school, and you know, we didn't have really, you know, great basketball players. We had some good athletes. So I'm thinking to myself, you know, how can I get this done? How can I get this done? And I remembered a particular defensive press that we used where you're trying to hurry the other team when they're bringing the ball up the court, you know, called run and jump. And all the high schools always use what they call as a zone press. They don't use this run and jump press. So I said, let me give it a try. So I went and I studied it even further. I had learned it when I was in college as a player. And then I took the individual skills that were needed to implement this press, to execute this press, and I broke them down into their smallest components, and I taught them to my freshmen and my sophomores. This is how you do it. Okay, everything was new to them, and you know, in the beginning it was a struggle and there was some trial and error, but then once the season started, the other teams didn't know how to react to it. They didn't know how to respond to it. It was not something that they had seen before. It was something completely different. And I remember at the end of the season, one of the guys that I was friends with, I used to play ball with, you know, some of the other coaches. We used to play basketball, and he was a varsity coach, and you know, I was a lowly frosh soft coach. He had taken, the week before they were playing my team, he had taken his kids and he came up with some sort of an offense that it wasn't super successful, but it was as successful as anyone had done against us. And then he looked at me like at halftime and he smiled and said, I spent some time with the frosh soft team to beat your run and jump press, coach. And that made, we both smiled at each other, you know, but the thing is, take different skills that you have and add some nuances to them. Trial and error. Don't be just the cook. Don't just follow everything. Now you've got to master stuff. You've got to master the recipe before you can add the nuances. But once you do that, as an individual and as a leader, teaching your people, now I couldn't go out there and perform the run and jump because I'm the coach. I'm too old. But my players became me. They became what I would be if I were playing for ourselves in that particular game. That's what you want to accomplish as a leader. As an individual, what you want to do is master a particular craft and then do some trial and error with it. Become the chef. Become the creative person, both individually and as a leader. And always remember, hey, don't just ration the passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.